Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody. Welcome to another work day for dungeon masters, game masters around the world. And we are going to be getting into doing some building and constructing. Of course, we've got a little bit of instruction going on today as well. And I hope that you enjoy what I have prepared. I will be, of course, doing my normal, I have a presentation. I'm probably going to go through this presentation very fast. I'm going to speed it up a little bit today compared to what I normally do, and then we're going to get straight into making some magic items today. We're not making magic item tools, we're making actual magic items. I'm going to put up a poll. Feel free to take part in that poll if you want to, and I'm going to get started very quickly. So make sure you have some food, some drink, that you are comfortable and ready to go, and I will get started. How's that sound? We won't muck around at all. No waiting. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about tabletop role-playing games. Doesn't matter what you're playing, it can be Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, Mork, Shadow Dark, any OSR game, any modern game, a completely different game that isn't even D&D related. This should still apply to you, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be running what is called Game Master Preparation. This is lesson 5, where we create, make, homebrew your own magic items, things that you use or created yourself. And the overview for today is how to create magic items, creating balanced magic items, magic item inspiration, where to get the ideas from, the process of making a magic item, of course some miscellaneous recommendations. So the intention today is to explain how to do homebrew magic items, demonstrate that process, and allow you to take part and practice yourself. So how do you actually go about creating a magic item? Very simple. No, it's not that simple, but we're going to break it down for you so it is easier. Often the creation of a homebrew magic item by a dungeon master results in a string of problems for a game master. And so there's things that you can do to alleviate that problem. Players will generally want more power, more options from their magic items that they find in the game, or if they are buying them, and this affects how a game master's preparation process will actually go, and the development of actually making a challenge. Sometimes magic items simply eliminate challenge from a game. So magic items can drive your tabletop role-playing game campaign, your adventures, if the game master makes that magic item a major feature or MacGuffin for the adventure or campaign. So it's got a very useful, I guess, it's bait. It's essentially bait. Start small. Incorporate homebrew magic items slowly to reduce the number of issues or problems that will occur. You will not avoid or completely eliminate your problems when you're making your own magic items, because you're dealing with players. They will come up with clever ways of dealing with stuff. So you can't eliminate it, but you can certainly reduce your hassle. Create balanced magic items. It's always the question that I hear people ask. It's actually not practical to or possible to make or create magic items that are balanced for any tabletop role-playing game. The simple fact is that all magic items are intended to unbalance the game. That's why you have magic items in the first place. In the game of Dungeons & Dragons 5e, for example, the character classes, the character progression, the mathematics, the abilities, they don't actually require magic items to be successful in the game. They could do quite fine without any whatsoever. Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 and 4e, Pathfinder 1st edition, they all required you to have magic items. Heck, even 2e Pathfinder requires you to have magic items to keep up with the monster mathematics that is designed in the game. Of course, it's not perfect even for those systems, okay, even though I'm sure a lot of people believe it is. Now, the power of a magic item from greatest to lowest starts with anything that gives you mobility. So anything that makes you move faster, teleportation, changing position, really strong. After that comes granting extra magic power. So this is basically giving you another spell or more slots or more casting of a spell or whatever it might be. More things you can do with it, okay? Then you get specific magical effects. And this could be, an example might be a wand of magic missile or fireball or something like that, but it's got limited use. It can only be used for magic missile or fireball, and you can only use it so many times. The next one is actually martial combat. So that's your armor, your weapons, swords, things like that. And then lastly, the least powerful of all the magic items is the miscellaneous utility. Miscellaneous utility is the weakest of all of them. Okay, so now that I've said that, magic weapons, armor, and combat-focused items generally generate the most issues at a table because they are often made first, even though they are not the most powerful items that you could make. So this is not a wise place to start as a game master if you've never done any homebrewing before with a magic item. Start somewhere else. Start with the utility. So utility magic items are the best to create for player characters as they have the least effect on the game and usually don't affect combat and counter design. Now, when I say the least effect on the game, I mean the combat aspect of it. They will certainly be able to affect outside of combat. Occasionally, smart players will figure out how to use them in combat as well, but that's where I would start with what you're trying to do. Common magic items tend to be the lowest power level, so the weakest of them all is that the place you want to start with your game. Now, the power of a magic item can be adjusted over time. When you start low, and it has got, it's quite a common thing, but it's not very powerful, you can increase the power level over time, and this will avoid serious overpowered magic items. It is easier for players to accept increasing power of a magic item rather than debuffing or decreasing the power of a magic item. That is much harder for them to take on board. I'm sure there are some people who are better at it than others, but it's probably better to start small and weak and build up from there. Inspiration for your magic items. Where can you get your ideas from? I always suggest to people Harry Potter movies and books, great examples of simple magic items that have all sorts of fun effects. Novels and fantasy, science fiction that include magic items. I know a lot of people like Lord of the Rings, and I mean, you can take Lord of the Rings. The problem with magic items in Lord of the Rings is they tend to almost always be overpowered and always incredibly strong. So maybe not a good place to start, but certainly I suppose you could transpose stuff over. Historical magic items from mythology and legend. Mythology and legend has so many different types of magical items, weapons, armor that you could port over to your game. Computer games, video games, magic items, there's lots of them out there. Common and simple magic item effects from other role-playing games are a good source of items. I highly recommend the section in Xanathar's Guide to Everything on common utility and odd effects. I think it's page 135 to 140. Even if you can't get them, okay, I'm sure you can find them on the internet. This is a good example of just making a common, simple magical effect. Antiques, heirlooms, trinkets that aren't magical can be given a small magical property. Older versions of Dungeons and Dragons or other fantasy tabletop role-playing games often have magic items that you can easily port over from one system to another because they don't have, specific hard-baked dice mechanics or game mechanics built into them, so they have enough of a narrative sort of flow to them that you can port them into any game. And if you find that sort of thing, absolutely use those. Now, there is a process to making a magic item, and I'm going to break it down very quickly. Give your magic item an interesting and obvious name to tell part of the story of the object or indicate the function of your magic item. Naming the object and the item is actually quite important. Create a magical effect that has a benefit or a detrimental effect. It doesn't always have to be beneficial. It could be a detrimental effect. Special magical weapons abilities, they can be listed in various Dungeon Master guides. Some are better at doing this than others. Some have detrimental properties. Some have beneficial properties, minor properties, quirks, things like that. We've actually made up a huge list of 100 magical properties that are beneficial and negative properties or traits for a magic item, and I put them up on Patreon, so you're welcome to go check those out, but we're going to be looking at that today anyway. What is the history or intent of this magic item? Determine the power level of the magic item. Okay, how is it low power or high power? Is it an artifact? Is it middle of the road? Select the appropriate scarcity or rarity of the magic item. Is it quite common? You find a lot of them. Or is it there's one of a kind? There's only one. The bond with your magic item. Either a bond or attunement for a magic item helps stop player characters stacking too many magical powerful effects on their character and just turning it into a monster. So magic bonds, magical attunement is best assigned to magic items that have a permanent effect that don't run out of magical effects. Okay, so if you're thinking about a magic sword, yes, that probably requires attunement. Magic armor that always provides benefit probably requires attunement or a bonding process. Does the magic item have charges? And do these charges recharge at dawn the next day after 24 hours, or do you have to go to a special magical pool, dip it in there, or take it to another spellcaster to recharge whatever this magic item is? You know, it's only got so many limited uses, so you've got to, after you've used 50, you've got to get it recharged at the shop or something like that, or a special sage somewhere a lot, far away. Permanent magical effects, very much. Is it giving you a permanent magical effect, or is it a charge thing, or is it a single use like a potion or a scroll where you get to use it once? Once you drunk the potion, there's no more potion, it's gone. You use the scroll, it disappears into ash, it's no longer functional. Artificial intelligence like ChatGPT is quick and easy at making magic items. Not very good ones, but it can do it. With a bit of tweaking by yourself, you could probably fix many of the problems that they will create for you, but maybe you can use that. But there's no reason why you can't do that without the assistance of some sort of AI. Now, miscellaneous recommendations. Always like to give out recommendations to people. Please expect to make mistakes when you're creating a magic item. As soon as you make a magic item, you have to put it into play to determine what its effect will be. Okay? And when you do that, as soon as you put it into your game, your players will be trying to figure out how to use it in a way that you had not expected. It is simply naturally how the game operates. Players get a magic item, then they try to figure out a way of using it in a way that you were not actually could not foretell. And that's all right. You just need to expect that there are going to be some mistakes along the way. It's all right. Everybody does it. It's fine to take existing magic items and reskin that item in some way. Essentially, a magical sword becomes a magical axe or a magical pen. I mean, whatever the heck it is that you want to do with it. You go around stabbing people with a pen. There is no mathematical formula. Doesn't matter what system you've got out there. I know a lot of people say, yeah, this system is better than this, D&D 5e is not as good at figuring this out there as Pathfinder 2nd edition or 1st edition or 3.5 or 4e or Shadow Dark or whatever the heck it is you're dealing with, okay? Look, there is no mathematical formula for figuring out the magic item creation process so that your players won't find a way of exploiting it, because they absolutely will. You can't do that with mathematics. That is a completely unforetellable thing. Okay, so don't expect it to happen, because it can't work that way. Okay, I hope this was useful and interesting to you, and if it was, fantastic. We are going to go and make some magic items now. We're going to make a lot of magic items, I hope, in the time we have, and I would hope that you hang around and be part of that process. Get some inspiration, share your ideas, and help resolve the issue of trying to create something new for your game. Because, of course, we all like to think that we can put our own stamp on the game that we run. So thank you for watching and listening. Thank you for taking the time to check out what I have to say. I want to thank all my patrons who support me on Patreon, because that's where I stick all of my stuff. Generally, that's where it goes. And until next time, keep rolling those 20s. Hello, everybody. Okay, right. So we have done what we needed to do. We've got through the basics. Look, when it comes to the types of magic items you could have, it can be anything from a sword, armor, wands, staff, orb, a rod. It could be a book, an amulet, potion, scroll. That's not even the end of it. It could be a token. There's so many different types of magic items you can create for your game, and it's just about your imagination and what you can come up with. So for today, what I want to do is I want to show you a couple of tables. We have a lot of magic items that we hadn't fully fleshed out, and so we're going to try to work through that. What I want to do is I want to put a prompt in to get you to share an idea I prefer common magic items and uncommon magic items, things that are, pretty common that you can find a lot of, but there's nothing stopping us from making a artifact. So I thought what we would do first, before we go too far, is let's use a table. I was talking about tables for creating magic items. So let's use a table to create a magic item today using those tables. And I see the chat is moving very fast, so I'm going to catch up with it quickly. So there's a bunch of ideas here. Voted common, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, all right. So we've got all the votes are common. Okay, interesting. Hello, Pale Rider. Hello, Fred Huber. So we're going to get back to your ideas. I don't want to lose them, so I'm not going to put in a prompt just yet. Instead, we're going to take the tables I was talking about, these two tables, and we're going to make a magic item from those to give you an idea of the process that we have here. But you can do it any way you like. It doesn't matter, honestly. So first of all, let's get a screen up that shows you these tables. All these tables are on Patreon. They are at least the first draft. And yeah, here we go. This is it right here. So 100 magic item properties. So I'm going to get a percentile dice. I would suggest grabbing percentile dice yourself. Maybe you can roll up some of your own. If you give me a number, I can tell you what you've rolled up, if you like, in terms of an effect. I'm going to get rid of the hat. It's a hot day, and it's a work day, so we've got to get things done. So let's go over here. So percentile dice, 10-sided dice, and the percentile. Roll this, and I got 22. So if I scroll down to 22, 22 is dimensional space, an item that creates a dimensional space or area or region. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go with copy, obviously. Don't want to get cut. Now you'll see there are many, many more different things here. Like it goes on and on and on and on and on and on. So if I go over to this, this is a magical effect that would be beneficial, I suppose, in some way. So let's go with our magical effect. And we need to rewrite it a little bit. So we need a name for it. I think this is probably a wondrous legendary item. When you create dimensional spaces, it's kind of like mobility. And if we make it as such, we can probably make it like it is mobility. So we'll make it, that's sort of our level. What it's called, we'll get there in a second. And now we just need to create sort of a write-up for this effect in some way. So when you activate this, Sanctum token. Let's go with a Sanctum token. So imagine you have a token or a coin or a round disc. When you activate this round do I make it wooden? Round copper token, a dimensional space, a dimensional space is created that can hold, let's say, let's make it quite a large space. Let's say 30 medium-sized creatures. Now, medium-sized creatures can hold 30 medium-sized creatures or 15 large sized creatures that resembles a small cottage. Okay, so very simple magical effect done. Maybe we can add a little bit more to that, something like that. But there's the beginning of a magic item. Maybe it's useful for a warlock to be able to use this token, activate it, and you've got somewhere to stay. You can put in other things that it's going to do, but it's just a space that they can sort of, hang out in if they need it. Okay, so next, let's try a negative effect. Okay, so rolling on the percentile table, this thing here is, again, these magic item negative traits. There's 100 of these things. Lots and lots of different things here that we can use. Something that will be negative. So maybe it's a cursed magic item, maybe it's not. Something, So I'll roll. And this one is 5, number 5. So alarm. So we'll put this here and go copy. And we'll go over to our created items. We'll drop this in. And I think we can probably drop this in here. It'll be paste. Okay, all right. So alarm warns all creatures of a specific type that you are nearby. So I think this is alarm. I think we can say this is more of a common item. Let's make it another wondrous item as well. And we'll go here. Paste. We need to call it something. We need to decide what it's going to be. And we need to give it an effect of some kind. So, I'll think of a name in a second. Let's give the effect first, since it's an alarm. Okay. Probably the one thing that I would like to do is, why don't we put on a doorknob? This brass doorknob if turned creates a loud screeching sound that acts as a alarm system let's give this say warning all creatures nearby. So let's just call this, what we call this, the alarm knob. Doorknob. Okay. Bingo. That was pretty easy. And this is just from these lists, and you can make a number of magic items fairly quickly, but of course you don't have to use those at all. You can just use your imagination, come up with something that sort of sits. And with there, we've done a few in the past: Umbrella of Descent, Everlasting Flower, the Ball of Endless String, the Pendant of Spellbook, the breakfast skillet of cooking, self-cleaning rags, sword of glowing sobriety, the pen sword. It's exactly what it sounds like. Yes, it's from Percy Jackson. Smith's magic sword, suitcase of holding. What else do we have here? We have Snow Strider effigy, which is a bear, pot of animal friendship, snow globe of confusion, boots of Arctic travel, exactly what it sounds like, magic mistletoe, cookie jar of misbehaving, star of good vibes, book of memories, deluminator is from Harry Potter, of course, flash powder, remember ball, which I think is also from Harry Potter, spoon of steering, also Harry Potter. There's a few here. The wizard chest set, belt of useful things, and then we've got a bunch of stuff that we never sort of quite finished. I just jotted stuff down. So I've got plenty to work with today. It's not going to be a problem just sitting here and making magic items. So I'm not going to use the tables unless you guys want to use the tables. If you roll some numbers and tell me which table you want to roll on, that's great. Otherwise, I'm going to just work my way through this rather extensive list of ideas on how to make or ideas for making magic items. Okay, so I'm just get rid of my dice. Since I pulled them out, I will now bag them up, and that gives you an opportunity to roll some dice, share some ideas. I'll take down as many ideas as I can, and we'll work with them, see if we can't tidy them up and sort of lock them down into something. Okay, and then you've got an opportunity to use that idea in your game if you want. I think I'm going to need some tea, keep my brain going, some green tea. All right, so going back to chat, what do we have here? Ooh, we got some numbers rolled. So, and we've got a bunch of ideas as well. Cowbell of alarm warns cows. Only specifically cows, really? Only the cows know that something's coming. I suppose it could be a bell of alarm, but I feel like a bell is an alarm, whereas what you want is something that doesn't look like it's going to activate an alarm, and a brass doorknob might kind of do that. So okay, so let's take your idea here, and 17 from the table. I'm assuming you want that from the magic item properties rather than the negative traits. So 17, cooking. The implement instantly cooks, boils, or fries food. I think we've got something like that already, so we won't do that again. 98, so magic item properties. 98 from Pale Rider. 98 is yarn. The item guides you towards items. Yearning. The item guides you towards items, locations, and people you seek. Interesting. This is going to be an interesting one to try work through. And copy. And we'll take that over and see what we can do. I'm not too sure exactly how it's going to be structured, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. Paste. Where are we? Paste. That's that. Okay, and then we just need to zap on over to our chat. Yeah, so let's get the document up so you can see what I'm up to. Here we go. So, yearning. The item guides you towards items, locations, and people you seek. So, I guess the first thing is to write up the effect. It's a little bit hard to determine how powerful or strong something like this might be. My general feeling is it's going to be quite powerful. I don't think it's going to be a weak thing. Yearning. So what is it that the item guides you towards something? What would it be? Does it need to be specific? Do we want it to guide us towards an item? Do we want it to guide us towards... I think I've got it. So Divining rod. We're going to make it a divining rod. This is an odd effect. I don't think that I would consider this to be hugely overpowered. Let's consider this a wondrous item again. It's not really a combat thing. And then I feel like this is common. I don't think we need to worry too much about it. It's an odd effect. So you've probably already figured out what I'm planning to do here. What do they normally use for searching for water, like a divining rod? Let's make something that literally doesn't require skill and is just magically finds water. Divining rod made from hazel. Which hazel branches are commonly used in Europe and USA respectively as willow and peach trees, as are willow and peach trees? Well, let's make it hazel as a divining rod. And this is a very small, simple effect. It's not going to break your game at all, more than likely. This Y-shaped hazel branch leads the holder directly to the closest source of water. There we go. That was pretty easy. You're probably thinking, do I really need a magic item that is as simple as that? Well, that's really up to you. My point is, you probably don't need to worry about somebody killing another monster with this item, right? So if you're worried about overpowered, it's not really overpowered. And you'd be surprised, players are really good quite often at taking advantage of a magic item that seemed like it did not have a combat focus and finding a way of weaponizing it. So yes, yeah. And it's obviously purpose-built for a specific sort of thing in a certain type of campaign. This would be good in a campaign for them to find where water is difficult to find in a desert. And finding the water source might be the difference between survival or death. Dark Sun, for example, or any kind of campaign where resource management or survival in the wilderness is required. So, a divining rod. So there is one. Let's go into the chat now. I think I'm going to start pulling some of your ideas out and adding them to the list, and then I'll work on stuff. If you guys run out of ideas, that's not a problem. So hang tight. Hashtag have what magic item ideas do you have? That is my question. So the probably the easiest way to deal with magic items is go something like name. Give me the name. How common? Or let's just say rarity. And then after that, the magical effect. Okay, let me go back. There are a bunch of these ideas here. So Fred Huber had self-inflating life vest. I know you've got something above that. I'm not too sure what's going on there with that one, so I'm just going to just port over the self-inflating life vest. Inflates upon immersion in water. Caution, the neck hole constricts to where it chokes humanoids of medium or large size. I own a self-inflating life jacket like this. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is done in jest. So I don't know that this is necessarily the most exciting. I mean, a life vest is supposed to inflate, right, and essentially stop you from drowning. So I don't know that that's really magical. I feel more like science. Maybe the issue is where you bought it from. So I'm not going to bother with that one. Boots of water walking. Yes, there we go. Boots of water walking. Now you've got a whole bunch of other things going on here, and I don't know that I'm going to include all of that, but we'll see how we go. Paste. Boots of water walking. I like the idea of working with that one. With training, you eventually don't need the dexterity check. Forget about the dexterity check. You know Fred Hooper. Fred is the patron. Fred, no, you know I am not going to include a dexterity check to the magic item at all. Okay, boots of walking. Dex check each 10 feet. Fail and you flip over, slide down on your feet. No, not going to do that. Make all levels of magic items. You will eventually have to make powerful magic items, but start small and weak to begin with. I'm aware that a lot of you make a lot of different types, so that's cool. And I'm happy to make some artifacts today. There's a place for an artifact. An artifact is a great story in itself. It's an adventure. So make the artifact part of the adventure. That's why you go on the journey in the first place, to find the artifact or destroy the artifact or whatever the heck it is. Limited number of uses and it's gone. If it's not a problem, you can give them another. Yep, I mean you can also have things that have recharge that don't recharge. They're just limited uses. Yeah, you don't have to have recharge. Oh, you think you like magic items that don't really have an effect? It's surprising how much my home group like the Cloak of Billowing, I've discovered. Hilarious. But it's not going to appeal to everybody. But yeah, dirt and rust, I suppose. Robes and armor that don't get dirty or rusty. Items that are not cursed but have one feature players don't want. The idea is you still want players to interact with magic items that don't have a good effect, to make it part of the interest. It's part of the story, the part of the adventure, right? So you can't just make everything cursed and with no benefits whatsoever. If you're going to do that, you have to put some benefits onto something so that there's a reason to interact with it. Otherwise, what you do is you train your players. Now, I've had this happen to me. You wind up training your players to believe that all magic items they will ever find in your game, if they're all cursed, and they've only got cursed effects and negative traits, is that magic items are bad. So I mean, if that's how your world works, that's fine. But you can assure you that players will not want to touch any magic items if you're going to do that. So you've eliminated any kind of fun from the game for them, and you will have eliminated any interest or fun for yourself because they will never interact with them. So you have shut them down. Yeah. Good luck with that one. Teria, spell storing and baldness. I don't know what that means. Ring of Resurrection can resurrect 3 souls, but it takes 10 years of the user's life each time. Really? So you've gone with two things. Now, a Ring of Resurrection is a pretty powerful item, Pale Rider, and I'm going to mark it down. I don't know that I like the idea of taking away 10 years of the user's life, but you could. What else have we got here? Ring of Flying, by giving the PCs Dumbo ears permanently. Okay, so this is look, so people understand, I probably make 95% of my homebrew, not 95% of my magic items in my games, but 95% of my homebrew magic items are cursed. But they still have to have something that is beneficial in some way. So Ring of Flying means you get to fly, but you've got permanent Dumbo ears. It's hilarious. Boots of Silent Footsteps. Okay, let's just grab this idea. There's a lot going on here today. Paste. What else have we got here? Under the table brooch, the wearer is not affected by any alcohol. Under the table brooch. I think we've got something like that already. That doesn't stops you from getting cowbell alarm. Caltrops or teleportation. If you step on it, it does normal damage, and if a saving throw is failed, it teleports them 50 feet or 1 kilometer away. A very, very odd ability. Okay. So you have really eliminated them from the fight. It's actually quite clever now that I think about it. Hello, James. I always find that no matter how many people are in the live stream, there are a lot of ideas for magic items that come flowing through. So caltrops of teleportation. Maybe we'll turn that into something. What else have we got here? Always teleport to the nearest cesspit. Oh, I don't know about that one. That's like Jack Sparrow's compass. Guides you towards treasure via path of most resistance. Okay, all right. Divining rod is usually a wishbone twig. Okay, we can make it a wishbone Y twig of willow or some other tree. Well, it might be willow in your country, but it's not willow in the UK. I've put down hazel because hazel and willow are materials. So peach tree as well, but in Europe it is hazel, okay, or witch hazel, and willow and peach tree in the United States. So I've made it hazel, okay. But wishbone shape is not a bad way to describe it too. This. Wishbone shaped hazel branch. Yes, okay, all right, I've got that down. What else we got here? Cloak of Forgetfulness. Anyone that doesn't already know the wearer has to save to remember the wearer. Okay, Pale Rider, I am trying to find a spot for this. Paste. And what else do we have here? James's idea. The Ring of Turning Undead. Rotate target creature 180 degrees. Let's just go with this. And I think what we do, James, is we'll take your idea and we'll build on that one as well. Because I like that idea. I think it's pretty good. So let's take that one. And along with the water walking one, and since James has jumped in here, I am going to start with yours. And yeah, we'll do that. That's where we'll go with this. So if we go to here, this is our document. We've got a name. And Ring of Turning Turning Undead. Turn Undead. How strong or powerful is Turning Undead? Turning Undead's pretty strong. I guess the question we need to ask ourselves is, what sort of magic are we dealing with? You're eliminating undead. I don't think it should be able to turn all undead. I think low-level undead is probably a much better idea rather than high level. It is. What do we want to call this? This is probably more in the vein of if I go over here. A lot of rings. No. I'm just trying to think in terms of the rings. And how powerful the ring is. Usually a ring is considered to be quite a high powerful item just because it's so small. Just the size itself is where its power lies, right? So if I'm looking for some guidance on this, rings rare. I was thinking rings would be at least rare. I suppose you can have common, but this is turn undead. Ring of spell turning. This is legendary. Blah 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 blah. DCs. This is for turning magic, but we're dealing with just specifically undead. Spell storing. It's got to be somewhere between rare and legendary in terms of what you're dealing with here, I would say. And it's a ring. So let's take my glasses. Ring. Rarity. I think we probably should require attunement for something as strong as something like that. Yeah, I'll make it rare for now. And we'll require attunement or bonding of some kind. Requires attunement. Okay, all right. And then let's bold that. And then if we, what I want to do is I don't know if I want to include a saving throw. Sometimes it's nice to have no saving throw, no dice roll, no game mechanics. It just works. So what sort of things would we like to turn? This, I guess, skull. Let's make it a skull shape. Skull shaped silver ring. Silver is the thing for undead, right? Silver ring turns the following undead creatures, forcing them to flee. And we won't set a timer. We're just going to say they're going to just flee. So I'm making it quite strong. And now we just need to put in some undead. So in terms of undead, what do we have that we can list that I think would be smart? Let's go with skeletons. Skeleton zombies. I don't want to include the mummy or the lich or vampires. I don't think they would be suitable, but we could go with what about a banshee? A banshee's a reasonably strong creature. We could add in the banshee. 23. Banshee. Maybe not. We'll leave that one alone. And then let's rattle through a couple more. Something that we can sort of guarantee seems reasonable to get rid of. Eliminate from a fight. Ghouls and ghasts. Don't know about a ghost. 148. Okay. So ghosts are pretty strong, powerful. I don't want to do that. I want to keep it to sort of the lower end or lower range. Let's go with the ghast. Ghoul. Ghast, ghoul, and is there anything else that I would like to include in here that's undead? I don't think there's anything else, is there? Homunculus, no. I think that would be. I think that's good enough. Let's just stick with those. And ghouls, skeletons, zombies, ghasts, and ghouls. So that is a rare item. And I've eliminated the idea of having a saving throw. I know everyone wants to add saving throws in here, but sometimes I just don't think they have a value to them other than to simply add mechanics that are unnecessary. So yeah, there you go. A ring of turn undead. rare, attunement, and pretty effective. I mean, at least you can get rid of these types of undead creatures, which could be quite useful. Okay, so is there any more stuff that I need to take note of? Oh, here we go. I'm going to have to take some notes down. I'm going to go back to the water walking boots because I think I would like to work on that. Ring of Teleport. Do we already have a Ring of Teleport? I'm sure there are older versions of D&D had Ring of Teleport. Okay, all right. Before I forget, I should probably share my Discord link. And for those of you who are interested, so that you can come and join over there, because I'm often over there quite a bit, doing stuff, at least near the end of the week anyway. Yeah, my Discord is not, you don't have to be a patron to be able to access the Discord and talk to me. It's not really something I didn't put a pay barrier between it. Okay. So James, you like the Ring of Turn Undead? Look, it's powerful, it's strong, but it's so you don't have to worry about your big baddie getting turned by this thing. If we added a saving throw and allowed it to turn, a vampire, which is probably a big bad, or a lich, or a mummy lord or a mummy, it's probably a big bad, and that sucks. It's still interesting. It still does something, but you don't want to eliminate the big bad with a magic item, if you can help it anyway. Okay, let's just take down some of these ideas here. We've got a Ring of Teleport to the specific location the attuned wearer first attuned to the ring. Can't change the location for that creature. Oh, come on. That is, if you're going to give them a Ring of Teleportation, you're going to give them a Ring of Teleportation that will actually have some sort of use other than being just a complete pain in the butt. I know you like doing that sort of thing, but it is. It's just going to wind up being a complete pain in the butt. So I'm copying it down. To a location the attuned wearer has seen in the past. I'm going to change that, Fred Huber, to Ring of Teleportation to a specific location the attuned wearer has seen in the past. So you need to have attunement, but you can go back to a place that you've seen in the past. If you haven't seen the place, you can't go there. It's got a limitation, but it's not just wholly frustrating as a magic item. Okay, Ring of Turn Undead should make it walk that direction for the next. So I hate magic items that say it lasts till the next turn, or for this many rounds, or for 1 minute. If it's going to turn them, just let them run and keep running and never stop running. Just get rid of them. Otherwise, your players have to go and hunt them down if they're still in the complex. No, we would just want to, if we're going to eliminate them from the battle because they're going to run away, then just let them run away and be done with it. Anyway, that's my approach. That's my thoughts. The Death Knight armor. Oh, good Lord, Pale Rider. What have you cooked up here? You've got a +3 thing going on here. Let me see if I can just truck this in. I'm not showing you the Google document right now, people, because I am adjusting stuff. Okay. So the armor, Death Knight armor. The armor gives a +1 to all attributes, but it is also worn for a total of 30 days. The wearer is turned into a Death Knight. Well, okay, that sounds like definitely a cursed magic item, and that's an artifact level item too. That would not be something. This is the sort of thing that you might give to a villain who is transformed into a Death Knight, and you have to get the item off them, and then of course your players have to make that tough decision not to put it on. It might be hard because +3 to all attributes is rather a lot. Yeah, if you include armor class as well, it's like catnip for a cat, frankly. Okay, Sword of Banshee. The Banshee sword, I think we're just going to call it. Sword of the Banshee can just be called the Banshee sword. Let me see if we can find... Interesting idea, though. It's definitely a plot, or not a plot, an adventure-driven item. The Death Knight armor. It's clever. Banshee sword. Banshee sword. And we'll go here, full stop. If a female elf is killed by the weapon, there is a 50% chance that the victim becomes a banshee under the control of the user. Okay. This is a very specific item. If a female elf is killed by the weapon, there is a 50% chance that the victim becomes a banshee under the control of the user. Yeah, so what would that be? That would be... My general feeling is that this is probably still an uncommon to rare item. An uncommon would just be magical weapon. +1 magical weapon, no +1 but still magical. You can have a magical weapon that's not got a +1 to it, to a +1 to damage or to hit, but it's still magical in terms of dealing with damage immunity and damage resistance and so forth. But yeah, this is probably a little bit more than just uncommon. It's probably falling into rare, as it probably should be. It might even fall into legendary, just because it feels like there's a story behind that item. Yeah. Sometimes the pain in the butt magic item isn't entertaining. Absolutely. But not for everybody. Bracelet of negative energy. The wearer is identified as undead by other undead. So this is really to screen you. This is actually a clever idea, though. I like this. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. I definitely feel like we need to work on that one too if we can. I might come back to this. If I ever get a chance, the guys will probably put more stuff in there and I'll be dropping it into the documents thinking, will I ever get to it? Someday. Someday. Okay. Oh, question. Do people want me to put a list of these particular magic items that we've made in the past up onto Patreon? I don't believe I've done so, and I would like to simply just continue adding to the list, but I would be happy to do so if you want. If you want me to do that, you let me know, because there's not really a lot of work for me to do. Like they are made. I just need to put them into a document. So if you want me to do that and you're interested, let me know. And maybe we can make that happen. If you want me to make it available for free, well, say something in the chat. It's probably, or the comment section. If you would prefer it to be pay, then my Patreon's pretty cheap. But anyway, but yeah, we could do something like that. I don't see why not. And okay, so let's go back to the next thing that I thought was quite cool. It was not really a combat thing. We do have one that is, but this is not this one. This is the boots of water walking. And we will just drop this down here. Down here. Forget about this. Boots of water walking and water walking. Okay, and now I go here. I feel like this is a... What is this? This is more in the vein of... Is there boots of water walking already? I know there are boots of striding and boots of other things. Is there already an existing boots of water walking? Question. Let's make sure we don't have that already there, because it would be pointless to remake something that already exists, right? It probably exists in older versions of D&D. Somebody here who plays AD&D or basic. Here we go. So we have boots of elvenkind, boots of levitation, boots of speed, boots of springing and striding, boots of the winterlands. Okay. All right, so it really should be a wondrous item. It's probably well, is it going to be uncommon? Uncommon, and you're walking on water. I feel like that's more of a rare item to a legendary item, depending on the what level it is. Water walking is a spell. I can't remember. I come back to this. Let's just go here. Let's go here. Let's make it uncommon. Oh no, I think we're going to have to make it rare. I think that's probably better. Even boots of levitation are rare. So if we go here, boots, paste, and we'll have to make this rare, I think. Do we need attunement? It's an ongoing effect that's permanent. Possibly, but okay. Boots of water walking. Let's go bold. And then what are we doing? Maybe we just take the. I could just take the water walking spell and just shrink it down and transpose it into here and make it work that way, without the highly punitive. You will wind up upside down if you don't save or make a saving throw. Now, one of the things you might discover with water walking is water walking usually doesn't come up unless you're on a campaign where you're on a sailing ship or involved in a lot of water. It's not a game-breaking spell, water walking, as far as I'm concerned. Even though it is mobility, and it means you won't, you don't have to really worry about drowning because you can walk on the water, do the Jesus Christ thing. But it's only a level 3 spell, so it's not a hugely high level spell as such. I'm gonna think about this a bit more. Okay, now let's get the magical effect in. These blue leather boots, while worn, allow the wearer to now. We had attunement on the ring. The sanctum is legendary magic item. Don't think that needs to be, but you could always be wearing these. It's tempting to put attunement on it. You're not going to be wearing more than one boot, but if you're playing 5e, there's a limit of 3 items. Okay, let me think about that a little bit more. Let's see. I don't want them to be able to walk across lava necessarily, but that's what the spell does. Allows the wearer to walk across any liquid. It's one individual, whereas water walk is for 10 individuals too. That's another thing to consider. It's like, and water walking lasts for 10 minutes and you get 10 willing. So this is actually not as powerful as the actual spell itself, which is probably why it's depowered just a little bit. Okay, all right, any liquid, surface. This, like, now. So water, let's include acid, mud, sure, do mud, snow, no, it's not water, quicksand, lava. Sure, okay, so yeah, they can have lava, we can do that. Like water, acid, mud, quicksand, and lava. Is there anything else we need to add to that? I think that's probably good enough. And I think that's probably a strong enough item to warrant it being rare rather than uncommon. And I don't know that we necessarily need to tie it to, what do you call it? Tie it to a bonding process or attunement. I think it would be fine without doing that. And it won't sort of mess your game up too much. Okay, all right, let's do that one. Okay, let's go back to the chat and see where people are at. Bum, 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 and okay. Hello, Derp, how are you doing? Magic Corn, all right. Tell me how the Magic Corn works, Derp. Derp is a patron, thanks for being here. Nobody said whether they want the list of, oh yes they have, somebody's mentioned it now already. Okay, Magic Corn. Let's take our Magic Corn idea from Derp. Magic Corn, say make the items available via Patreon or the book you're working on. So for those one of the things that I've always wanted is, and I think Wizards of the Coast and other publishers should probably do, is to simply make a book full of magic items. Now they've done it before, but rather than high-level, powerful magic items, just make it mostly common magic items, things that are kind of small, things that you can drop into your game and that you would be able to use a lot, rather than a book of magic items that your players would drool over, but you'll never be able to include into the game because it would wreck it. This is where this is where Fred Huber is going with this. Yes, there's boots of water walking. Mine were supposed to be defective. So the boots of water walking from AD&D, is that correct, Fred Huber? Or am I, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's no boots of water walking in 5e. I could be wrong. I wonder if I can probably look that up, can't I? I can probably go into here, under magic items. If I go into magic items and look, spells, magic, yeah, magic items, boots, and it will list all the boots. And there might well be one that's boots of water walking. Boots, speed, Wait for a... No, there isn't. Not in 5e. Not at least. Not in there. Fine. Okay. Okay, so magic corn, just like regular corn, but it presents as magical to any detected magic effect. Also, its native plane is the Fae and is suspected to banish effects. You're going to have to fill me in a little bit more. I'm making a note of your corn, but I'm a little unsure how I deal with that. Just a teeny weeny bit. Teeny weeny bit. Okay, paste. Interesting idea. I just don't know how to deal with that yet. Fae corn cannot be used to make cornbread. Okay, all right. Crown of the Hag. The Crown of the Hag is just the Hag crown. Gives the all the power of the Hag, but oh, okay, I see. So you're literally presenting an item. So I did this with the. I had a friend who was constantly harassing me as he playing as warlock about I want the gauntlets of ogre power because I want to have a really high strength and a high intelligence because he had I think it was a circlet or whatever of intelligence, and he wanted to have a really, really high strength as well. So charisma, intelligence, and strength. And like you're getting way too powerful, dude. Yes, he did play to level 20, so these things do happen, certainly in my games. And then I gave him the gauntlets of ogre power, and that transformed him into an ogre slowly, so he had to get rid of it. Dear, don't ask for what you want too much. If you start annoying the dungeon master, then things will happen. Okay, Crown of the Hag crown. The crown gives all the power of a hag, but every day the we're a must save, we throw and a fail, a hag takes over their body. Okay, all right, I've marked it down. It's on the list. So James, would you like me to put the list that we've got so far up onto Patreon? That's the question, I guess. That's my question. Make the water walking boots leave wet footprints. I suppose you could. We're not walking on water. You're going to use those boots? Good. Awesome. New magic items. Don't just put this junk in a book without some heavy curation. I don't plan to put anything in a book unless I play test it. I play test everything, mate. I play test everything. I have no intentions of doing anything without... do you think I'm going to just make stuff and then just shove it into a document and put it out there? That's not how I work. Could make the cut, but this is polluted by bad or trolley ideas. Absolutely, like half of mine. I totally get it. I would curate. I always do. 5e made a water walking ring, not boots. There you go. Problem solved. It's a ring, and now we've got boots. I actually like the idea of boots rather than a ring. Deck of many puns. Each pun. Okay, all right. Okay, let's go back to the things that you guys have given me, and let's put those things in there so you can see me build out a magic item again. Since we've been working on this, let's do an artifact. Somebody has given me a really just bat nuts crazy artifact. I won't spend a lot of time on it. I would like to keep including things that you might actually use rather than not use. So let's see if I can do this again. Done. Try again. Okay, this is this one. And I copy this. All right, here's my Discord link. All right. If you want to join me on Discord, you can. How to RPG. Okay, so invite is done. Next, let's go back to the artifact. The Death Knight armor. I really like that as a potentially a really overpowered adventure or campaign driven magic item. So let us venture into this. Okay, and we need to determine the power of this. I think we can just about guarantee it's right near the top. It's not a low level. It's artifact sort of stuff because you're getting immense power. It's clearly designed to be as such. So, yeah. And it's armor. A lot of artifacts tend to not be armor. Probably for a good reason. Pardon me. So let's go here. So armor, and it is plate, full plate, and then because Death Knights wear full plate, right? It's artifact, and then it definitely should require attunement. Okay, now that we've got that, let us figure out how to describe what it does, how it works. Now, most artifacts, when you design them, they also have how to destroy them. Like they'll have benefits, they'll have a lot of detail, they have a history behind them. We don't have time to do all of that, so we're going to keep it really simple. And I think the only thing we do need to make sure you include is how do we destroy it. So that is my question to you. If we create an item like this, how the heck do you destroy the Death Knight armor? Yeah, because you don't want it to just rocking around anywhere and everywhere you go, right? So you've got to come up with a solution. Your players are going to come up with a solution for getting rid of this thing once they do get their hands on it during the campaign. So maybe I should just make a post on that right now, and then I'll go back and start working on that. So hashtag how would you destroy the Death Knight armor artifact? All right. Let's see how you go with this. Yeah, look, there's plenty of... Hello, Cal-Rel. How are you? Sonic screwdriver. That's a very clever idea. I like that idea a lot. Okay, let's go back to the Death Knight armor. While you guys are cooking up some ways to destroy this thing and get rid of it, let's write up an entry for our Death Knight armor. This black full plate armor let's go crazy a little bit. Let's go British English because I am not American. Artifact. I know for a few of you that might be frustrating, but it's messing with my ability to spell in my own country. This black full plate armor grants a +3 armor class bonus and gives a +3 bonus to all ability scores. Okay, so we've done that bit. So if the armor is worn for a total of 30 days, the wearer is turned. Now I think we need to have consecutively. If the armor is worn, we need to also state that the armor can't be taken off. So it's once you put it on, you can't be taken off without removing the curse. One of the people in my group had armor kind of like this, and he was rocking around it for ages. It didn't turn him into a Death Knight, but it did cause some problems. The armor can't be removed unless a remove curse spell or similar magic is cast on the wearer. Good luck trying to get them to allow you to do that, because it's pretty powerful. If the armor is worn for a total of 30 days, it's worn for a total of effectively the wearer is turned into a Death Knight. Okay, now we need a way to destroy this. I think we've got the basic elements that Pale Rider was leading into for this. Put this on a baddie. Put this on a player character, and they will wind up being the baddie. Right, Lozenjar, and let's have a look and see if you guys have cooked up some good ways of getting rid of this thing. Artifacts should always have a fairly complicated and difficult way to destroy them. It's part of the story of your adventure, part of the whole concept. Okay, let's go over here. And okay, a mix of acid or black dragon and condensed breath of green dragon. Okay, bathing in the radiance of a solar searing burst, emitting the divine energy that deals fire and radiant damage, melting in a specific volcano. Sorry, dude, you're gonna die from every one of these ways to get it destroyed. No, no, yeah, the curse can be removed. The curse can be removed. There's a lot of acid and fire going on here. Radiance, bathed in radiance. Okay. There's a few different things going on here. I think this item is clearly something made by somebody very, very evil. Whether it's an evil god or an evil lich, my general feeling is that that's what's going on here. So we've got to make sure that we're not selecting things that are, I guess what's the word? Suggest that it is constructed by somebody who had a stable understanding of the world. Okay, let's try something else. A mix of acid of black dragon. Well, collecting the acid from a black dragon would be difficult. Okay, so if we coat the blade, if we coat the armor in the acid of a black dragon and throw it into a volcano, a specific volcano, which volcano are we talking about? Making it too hard. You're trying to turn it into a sentient and magic item as well. The armor can only... Okay, I need to write this down, don't I? And this is where you need to see what I'm doing. The armor can only be destroyed by coating it with the acid. Now, so you've got to milk the acid out of a black dragon with coating it with the acid of a black dragon and tossing it into a volcano. How's that sound? Couple of problems. You've got to find yourself a volcano. You've got to, into a active volcano at a particular time, while there is a full moon. That's three different. There's three different criteria: volcano, full moon, acid from a black dragon. That should make destroying the artifact quite a task. And if you read any of the how do you destroy an artifact, like for example the axe of the Dwarven Lords, how do you destroy this axe? This is how it reads. The only way to destroy the axe is to melt it down in the earthly heart forge where it was created. It must remain in the burning forge for 50 years, that's a long time, before it finally succumbs to the fire and is consumed. So we could put a time limit on it as well, but we've put 3 criteria and there are 2 criteria. The forge and a period of time which is horrendously long, which means it could potentially be saved and pulled out. Okay, there we go. There's an artifact. Is it a gauntlet? No, but anyway. Solar eclipse. You want to have a solar eclipse. Well, that makes it much harder. During a solar eclipse is generally going to really happen, right? So that's not bad. I like that a lot. Let's add solar eclipse during a solar eclipse. While there is a solar eclipse. Much harder to destroy it now. Well done. Nice. Pretty good. Yeah, no, we'll just say volcano. Any volcano will do. Plenty of volcanoes out there. Never enough volcanoes to work with. Okay, so I should probably drop in another bunch of ideas. So let's bring us back to our page and work on another one that people had put forward. And I like the idea of the sonic screwdriver. Multi-tool, used to construct any tool. It's an interesting concept. It is very much a Doctor Who concept, right? Do we call it the sonic screwdriver? We just call it the sonic tool. It doesn't need to be a screwdriver as such. Sonic tool. And then we've got to decide, what is it? I think we call it a multi-tool. Multi-tool. I think this is a wondrous item. A multi-tool, tool used using hardly to construct it in here. So basically, it's going to have to be a wondrous item. I don't know that it necessarily needs to be a rare item. It's kind of like carrying around a full toolbox. It could almost be a wondrous common item, my general feeling is. Oh, bugger that. No, don't do that. Try that again. Copy. So if I go up here to this and paste, is there precedence for this tool? What are you trying to do? You're generally trying to create a Swiss Army knife. It's essentially a Swiss Army knife, right? But it could be even better than a Swiss Army knife, because a Swiss Army knife would definitely be common if you made a Swiss Army knife literally a magic item. But if it's like carrying around a toolbox, how would that look? Bolt. This long grey. Do I want to just make it a long grey? It's long grey. Sonic multi-tool. This long grey. What's the best way to describe this? Bar. Let's just call it a bar. It's just a bar. Grey bar can transform into any tool, any tool It might be as simple as that. Do I need to give you examples? Tool used to repair or construct something. I think that would be fine as a magic item. I think that would be fine as a magic item. I think that's going to be a huge problem. It's definitely sort of sitting in the realm of what are we talking about here? Sitting in the realm of a cantrip. I mean, it feels like a cantrip level thing. So I think common is fine. And it certainly gives you a lot of versatility, so you don't have to carry around a toolbox. Let's make it small. Long grey, yep. I think that'll be fine. Yep, there we go. Really, really basic magic item. Very simple. Could be used to do a lot of different things. Are we back to magic corn, are we? Magic corn is like the opposite of an artifact, something so mundane that its magical properties are so minor and useless that it is less than even a common magic item. Well, I suppose it could be. Yeah, eclipse, solar eclipse. Yeah, solar eclipse is pretty tough. There's a lot of criteria now. A full solar eclipse. So it would have to be during a full solar eclipse. I can add that in. Well, there is a full solar eclipse. Okay, I've added it in. Let's go back to where I was and see if we can't break out a few more ideas. Let's mark the chat here and work on another couple from some of the ideas you guys have presented today. Next, we have the Ring of Resurrection. Can resurrect 3 souls, but it takes 10 years off the user's life each time. It's quite powerful. Let's look at something else. Bracelets of negative energy. The wearer is identified as undead by other undead. It's not a bad idea. Hag crown, flying boots of silent footsteps. I feel like, aren't there boots of silence already? Cloak of forgetfulness. The Caltrips one is interesting. The Ring of Teleport. Banshee sword. Coin of scrambling. It would be placed in the circle anyway. Yeah, it's very specific. Scroll of debatable knowledge. Goblet of infinite thirst. Ring of invisibility. Horse pocket. Smelling the flower for 10 minutes when exhausted. Good lord, there's a few things here. Ring of packed boon. Staff packed boon. Okay. What else could we create? And I'm tempted to create a mini parachute as a magic item. We discussed this a long time ago, and I think that would be, I mean, I know the idea being is, okay, feather fall spell, right? You fall, you're saved by that. But this would be an interesting item to make as a magic item. So I'm going to go cut here. I don't think it's going to break your game, frankly. It's very situational, and they have to walk around with the thing on their back all the time, which is just horrendously funny, if you ask me. So let's do that. Mini parachute. And we're dealing with feather fall, which, if I remember right, is a pretty low-level spell. I know it's a reaction, but we're not necessarily duplicating featherfall that much. Featherfall. Choose up to 5 filling. No, this is for 5 creatures. This is a level 1 spell. So really, it could probably sit in the realm of being a common item. And it's so situational. Okay, let's go copy. Paste. And in many respects, it's not really a magical item, is it? But here's the thing. How small do we make the parachute that you're wearing? We can make it quite small. Where do we put it? Do you have to wear it on your back? Can you wear it underneath your backpack? Problem is it comes out and da-da-da. This tiny pack expands when you expands to a full-sized parachute. I need to think about this a bit more. Parachute. Yeah, parachute. I almost feel like the mini parachute would be more fun as an umbrella. But no, we'll make it a parachute as such for these purposes. So yeah, let's make it an actual parachute. Define a cloth canopy which fills with air and allows it to descend slow. Let's take that, go over here, paste the fourth of full-sized or cloth canopy which fills with air and allows the to descend slowly without taking damage. Okay. This tiny parachute expands into a full-sized. This tiny pack expands into a full-size parachute. This tiny pack expands instantly. Instantly to a full-size parachute or cloth canopy which fills with air and allows the wearer to descend slowly without taking damage. Pretty close to where we needed to be. Okay, there we go. So there's another idea. A common magic item would not break your game. And do you need to have a trigger? I mean, you can add in, and you have to use a bonus action. You have to speak a command word. You have to use a reaction. But ultimately, you're probably not going to use this in the middle of combat. You're probably going to use this when you get into a situation where you're falling. It's probably not necessarily going to be in battle. And I don't think we need to attach an action to a lot of these items, particularly because they're common magic items. So they're not really going to be used in battle. So defining an action for them is not that important. Anyway, what else do we have here? We have some few more ideas that we could work with. And I think we should do at least, we've got about, it's 40. I can probably deal with one more before I lose it. Now it's once in 500 years or more. Well, yes, that makes it a lot more difficult. Absolutely, I agree, for sure. What else can we do here? I think we can go with... My boots have the toss side effect. They can hear you, but they can't smell you. What? Carol, industrial teleportation rings like Stargate. I suppose you could make a teleport. I mean, we could create a teleportation ring like Stargate as a magic item. That would probably, now if you're dealing with gating or moving from one plane of existence or from one world to another, that is a high level feature. Okay, it's one of the strongest things you can include as a magic item. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but unless you're playing at high level, it's probably not something you want to include until you are playing that kind of game. So if you do it, that's great. But remember, High level feature, one of the strongest things you can do is mobility. And yeah, that would certainly be what's going on. It opens to a 5-foot radius, but slows them like Featherfall. I don't think we need to even worry about it. Then they have to repack it. Well, I mean, it could be just a single-use thing. Like, you know, it could be just a single-use thing. The pack. Okay. Open like a crib bed sheets tied at the four corners. Ship in a bottle. Break the bottle and you get a full-size ship. That's not a bad idea, Fred Huber. I like that. Imagine being able to carry around a bottle that has a ship in it. And when you need the ship, you just smash the bottle and you got a full-size ship. That's kind of brilliant, actually. It's really simple, very simple. Good if you're playing like mid to high level or the mid-range. Like, you know, quite often campaigns tend to sort of level 5, level 10, around there you're traveling the world a bit more. That's actually really, really smart. I like that a lot. Let's just see if we can't work on something like that. It is also going to be not a common magic item because you're giving them significant mobility and not just one individual, many individuals. So let's jump over here and work on the bottle. Brilliant idea, by the way. Ship in a bottle. Ship in a bottle. Let's go here and a transparent glass bottle that broken okay, a transparent bottle with a tiny ship inside. Full stop. We have to determine its level of its feature in terms of like how powerful is this thing. Well, I think it's going to have to sit somewhere in the range. I would say definitely in the range of rare to legendary. So there shouldn't be too many of these things floating around. Again, it's not. I don't feel like it's going to break the game. It's there for a purpose. You're only going to use it when you really need it. The question is more around. Okay. What are we dealing with here? I think maybe legendary, a wondrous item that's legendary. I can see that. Let's go copy. Let's go up and paste. And we'll make it legendary. Legendary. Okay, cool. Now we just need to finish the sentence so it makes sense, because right now it doesn't. We go bold. A transparent glass bottle with a tiny ship inside. So when the glass bottle is broken, the tiny ship expands or grows and expands into a full-sized sailing ship. Okay. It's a cool item too. Like, it's the sort of thing that the players, or when the time arrives, the opportunity to use something like this, and it's not something that you can then shrink back down. It's a one. Once you have the ship, you have the ship. So yeah, I think that's quite clever. Fred, you did a great job. That idea is brilliant. Okay, let's go back to the chat, see how people are doing, and then I might toodle off. But it doesn't work. It doesn't come with a crew. No, it will not come with a crew. The crew are not in the bottle as well. So I need to add that fact, because that'll probably be the next question, right? When the glass bottle is broken, the tiny ship expands into a full-size ship. The ship can't be shrunk back down and doesn't include a crew. Yes, your players will be crewing this ship. Okay, got it. Hi, James. Some of the trollish ideas actually seem really fun if sorted out a bit. Yes, James, and this is why I don't always just delete them. I do actually add them and sort of look at them and sort of see if I can break them down. 12 feet sailing boat to a massive Spanish galley. Ship in a bottle could come in. Yeah, you could adjust it. Absolutely, I think that's a great idea. Could do all sorts of things with it. It would be fun. It would be a lot of fun to have that item. Okay, so let me think. I'm just wondering if I do one more. If there's enough time, can we do one more that we can add to the little list of things that we've done today? Something that would be interesting. I'm going to go to the top of the list, because we had a lot of stuff very early on that was really interesting. The auto-writing quill, the suitcase of returning, landscape painting that shows desired weather, harmonious utility handbag, it's basically a handy haversack, golden snitch, shoes of caltrop, self-writing map, magic pudding. Does anybody remember the book, The Magic Pudding? It's an Australian story. I think it was published and written in Australia. One of my favourite stories as a kid, The Magic Pudding. The chest of disguise, the hat of dryness, the wizard's safety razor. I don't know what's going on there. Divining rod, we've done that already. Somebody had mentioned, so we've got a divining rod. Jug of booze transformation. I don't know. Oh, it just turned booze into something else, I guess, or water into booze. Book of bad jokes, cursed cape, Peeves extra dimensional loo. Basically, you're going to make your own toilet. Okay, a potty. Well done. Rod, books sometimes, strong winds. Dunning rod, you can retrieve side, da, packed, burned, diddly-dee. A statue, a cat statue. Ring of fishing. I don't know that I'm feeling the love around that one. Is there anything that could stand out that might be a bit more interesting but still useful that players might like? Boots of silence. Do we have something that allows you to walk around in boots already and make you really quiet? Yeah, the boots of Elvenkind, essentially. It's the same sort of thing, so I don't want to bother with that. So I'm not going to. Ring of flying, Dumbo ears, hag, crown, corn. Not sure what to do with it yet. Do we have some ideas that are further down that we got through to at some other point in the past, and I just never finished them? Sometimes this happens. Battle cat harness. So this has got to be Jasper. Pint of endless ice cream. Self-cleaning chamber pot. A helmet that whispers in your ear. Why do we need a self-cleaning chamber pot? Helm of help. Help others. Sword of glowing. Well, of course, there lots of swords glow. Hover. Well, let's keep a. Does it need to be a helm? A helmet? Or could it be just a cap? Helm of helping is, I guess, the helm of helping is just because the alliteration is interesting. A hover cart. let's do the hover cart. I feel like the hover cart might have a place. There's a lot of weird things going on here. The hover cart's not bad though. I like that idea quite a bit. So let's go cart. Because now you can carry a bit more stuff around without having a full-blown, what do you call it, bag of holding or a handy haversack. We can still include that there. So that would be a fun thing, I think. Let's do that. Parachute. Can I do it fast though? Can I get it done in a small space of time? I don't know. We'll see. Legendary artifact, legendary, rare, legendary. Okay, we might have to move some of these things around. Anyway, let's put this in here. Let's do the hover cart. Hover cart. It is. I feel like we can go with now Tensor's floating disk. It feels a lot like Tensor's floating disk, this concept, right? So if we look at Tensor's floating disk, get an idea of sort of the power level of that, we can also determine sort of how much weight we want this cart to be able to hold. Because it could hold quite a lot, potentially. And it wouldn't be called Tensor's floating disk, but it would also be more practical in holding stuff. Tensor's floating disk. This is level 1 spell, so it's really a common item. It's just about how much weight it's carrying. So I don't think it needs to be uncommon. So we'll go here, copy, and then go here, paste. Hover cart, uncommon, bold. A wheelless cart that hovers 18 inches above the ground. Okay, so we need to have a carrying capacity for this thing. And we need to sort of give it a size too. The wagon is... Now how big do we want to make this? Let's make it a decent size. What's a good size for a wagon, people? The wagon is 1 foot, 2 foot, so 4 feet wide and say 8 feet long. 8 feet long. Now the floating disc does 500 pounds, and that's not that big, and that's 3 feet in diameter. So 3 feet in diameter, so 3 feet into this is 3 feet by 3 feet, 6, and then 4 by 8 is 4 by 8 is what? 8, 16, 24, 32. It's 10 feet wide and 8 feet long. That will let's see, support 5 tons. Too much? Let's have a think about that. Probably not. 6 into this. So it goes 6, 12, 18, 24, 35. Okay, 2.5 tons. 5 tons. Something like that. Okay, there you go. I think that's close enough to where we needed to be. Sweet as. All right, and we're going to probably be out of time at that point, I would imagine. Boots of Elven Kind. We need the chamber pot itself. No, we don't necessarily. Construction in a box. Transform to a 1 foot tall construct. Can be used as recon bot. User must concentrate to control and see and hear the bot. No offensive features. Okay, so it's basically a recon bot, basically. Okay, I can see what you're trying to do there. Interesting idea. Let's chuck it in here. Maybe we'll get back to it some other time and build it into something. Probably not today because I've got to go to work. Got to close up the house as well. So £20,000. Is £20,000 what? 20 ton or 2 ton? I can't remember. I don't do Imperial really. It's not really my area of expertise, Imperial, so you'll have to remind me so I know. Otherwise, I'm not going to know. Anyway, my Discord, if you want to come and join me sometime, I will probably be on there at some point during the week, probably near the end of the week. I would say my Friday, your Thursday. And yeah, I think maybe I should just put this list of magic items up onto Patreon for people to check out, see what they think. And maybe I should just do that for free so that people can... I'll do that. If I do that, I'll do that at the end of the week. So it'll probably be Friday, Saturday for me, and I don't know, whatever day it is for you in North America, or whatever part of the world you're in. I'm in New Zealand, so different time zone. So yeah, but yeah, that's probably what I'll do, is I'll do it that way, and we'll see how we go. Yeah, 10 tons is about 9.5 tons. Metric tons. So 10 tons. Geez, you really want to add a lot of weight to this thing. Oh, I don't know. I think 2.5 might be enough. Anyway, thanks for taking part in this poll, people. It's good to see people taking part. What type of magic items do you homebrew for your tabletop role-playing games? Common, 42%, which is why we made a lot of common magic items. Just watching, 28%. Rare, 14. Artifacts, 14. Out of 14 votes. Nice. Nice. Okay. I have to go. We'll be back tomorrow. Well, I'm back tomorrow. Well, not we, because there's only one person who runs this channel. It's me. So it's not a we. So I will be back tomorrow, and we'll be dealing with the Basilisk monster, remastering the Basilisk stat block for 5e. So thank you for watching and listening. Thank you for taking part in the poll. A huge thank you to everybody who's been in the chat. I got to thank all my patrons, because you make it possible for me to keep doing this sort of thing. I really do appreciate it. It's been a huge boon and a lot of fun to engage with you and make stuff. I love doing it. It's so much more fun than what I used to do, which is talk about somebody else's stuff. In any case, those of you in chat, Fred Huber, James, Calrell, Derp, and Pale Rider, I believe, was also here. Was there anybody else? Did I miss? I said Derp already. I think that was everybody who was in here today, providing their suggestions, ideas, and their feedback. And I really do appreciate that you did that. Okay, so wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, or the night, please look after your family, your friends, yourself. Okay, and be nice to your neighbours. Until next time, keep rolling those 20s.